throughout this whole process, Robbie, we've been talking about you take a quarterback for a red shirt. Correct. That's what we've been talking about, isn't it? A
Literally,
red shirt.
yes. Yeah.
You set up the Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes dynamic of a quarterback, and then you sit the other guy for a year. And Patrick Mahomes sat for a whole year, and Alex Smith started, and that's that. Now, the whole point of a red shirt is to redshirt them, so they don't play. It's not, you don't draft someone to be the backup, you're drafting them to be a red shirt. So let's just say that they take Anthony Richardson at number 5, Robbie. You can't make him the backup quarterback if you intend to redshirt him. Because if Geno Smith gets sacked on the first drive of the first game of the season and tears his ACL, guess what? End of redshirt. Anthony Richardson's then playing a full season of 17 games. I mean, that's the point. And it doesn't have to be week 1. It could happen in week 6. But the minute that Geno Smith gets hurt, and it's football, so it can happen, Anthony Richardson's redshirt year finishes. So if your idea, and I think it is if you're going to draft someone, you sit them in year 1 because you've got Geno Smith, then you don't want them anywhere near the field. You want them sat in the quarterback room learning. You don't want them anywhere near that. So what do? You sign a backup. You sign a backup quarterback. So you've got Geno Smith as your starter, you've got your backup quarterback, and then you've got your redshirt quarterback. And that's what they've done. If they'd signed Drew Lock to a multi-year contract, then I get it. You'd be signing him to develop him behind Geno Smith. They've signed him for a 1-year contract. They've signed the best possible backup quarterback, and it might have cost them a little bit more than some of the other backup quarterbacks. But Drew Lock knows the offense, knows the players, knows the coaches, knows the team. It's worth having him in that room as the backup. So now you can just proceed with 2 guys that you trust to start for you in 2023. And in case anybody hasn't noticed, Pete Carroll doesn't want to waste any time, doesn't want to waste any seasons. And now if Geno Smith gets hurt, they will feel like they can pick up the slack with Drew Lock and have a really competitive season. The idea of drafting a quarterback at number 5 is that they don't get anywhere near the field in year 1. And the only way to do that is to have QB1 and QB2 as 2 veterans. And that's what Seattle has now. Drew Lock signing a 1-year contract in Seattle means absolutely nothing. And if anybody's saying, well, it's too much at quarterback, it's too much. They can't pay Geno and Drew Lock and a rookie. Have you seen how much money they're paying the safeties? They're paying 2 safeties $36 million. They have got Ryan Neal on $2.6 million, and now they've signed Julian Love. If you can spend over $40 million on your safeties, then you can spend a bit of money on the flipping quarterback position, especially if doing it this way, Robbie, sets you up for 10 or 15 years of glorious quarterback success. If you believe one of these quarterbacks is a franchise quarterback who could be the next Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow, whatever, you're not worried about paying Drew Lock and Geno Smith and this guy. You go and you get him and you develop him. Robbie, some of the conversations around this are so dumb. They're so forced. I have to find any answer to back up my opinion. This is how it is, guys. The Seahawks could take a defensive lineman at 5. And if Will Anderson's there at 5, they may well just take him, whoever's there, because it's not that he's a special player, but he's a very good player and he's an alpha and he fits perfectly their scheme. Okay, so if Will Anderson's there, they might take him, whoever's there, whichever the quarterbacks are left. It's very possible to take a defensive lineman at 5. But guess what? It's also really possible to take a quarterback at 5. And I wish we could get to that point, Robbie, where we just embrace that, because that's how it is, isn't it?